Alright, buckle up. Ever heard the saying, not everyone should be a parent? Yeah, well, my childhood was basically Exhibit A. It's a wild ride involving slammed doors, questionable life choices, theirs, not mine. Mostly and a whole lot of therapy bills. We're talking premium grade dysfunction, folks. My brother and I, we were the unwilling stars in a reality show nobody signed up for. Let's just say our family tree needed less watering and more professional intervention. This isn't just a story, it's a cautionary tale wrapped in years of repressed memories. Let meet my brother, great guy seriously, but growing up, he carried a little extra weight. Instead of, parenting asterisk, my folks decided shame was the best motivator. Pot-bellied became his unofficial nickname at the dinner table. Charming, right? It wasn't just mean, it was the seed that blossomed into a full-blown eating disorder later. Imagine being a kid just trying to eat your peas and getting body shamed by the people supposed to build you up. Yeah, sets a asterisk great asterisk foundation for self. So we walk into the psychiatrist's office, basically emotional wreckage. The diagnoses started rolling in and boy, it was a laundry list. My brother, schizophrenia, major depression, generalized anxiety disorder, OCD, asterisk, and the eating disorder that started way back with pot-bellied. It wasn't just one thing, it was a constellation of pain, all tracing back to that chaotic upbringing. Hearing it all laid out was validating but also horrifying. Like, wow, they really did a number on him. My turn in the hot seat. I explained the constant struggle, the feeling of running twice as fast just to stay in place, the frustration, the useless label I'd internalized. And then the answer, ADHD. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. Suddenly, decades of feeling like a defective human made sense. It wasn't laziness, it wasn't lack of effort. My brain was just wired differently, and nobody had ever noticed or helped me navigate it. Instead, I got judgment. Imagine, all those years, just needing a different instruction manual and getting yelled at for not understanding the standard. Armed with these life-altering diagnoses, you'd think maybe, just maybe, our parents would have an oh crap moment. An apology, recognition, nah, crickets, well, not entirely true. They did pay for my brother's meds and offered financial support, which, okay, is something. But it came wrapped in a thick blanket of denial. Never once did they say, we messed up, we're sorry. It was like throwing money at a fire they started, refusing to admit they ever held the match. The cognitive dissonance was astounding. Support without accountability. Even with treatment, meds, and support groups, my brother's pain ran deep. The darkness didn't just vanish. He tried to end his life. Not once, not twice, 3 times. Each attempt was a desperate scream from a place so bleak, words couldn't reach it. Each time it sent shockwaves through my world, a terrifying reminder of how fragile his hold on life was, how deep the wounds inflicted in childhood truly went. And through it all, our parents' denial remained steadfast. It was like watching a house burn down while they insisted it was. Meanwhile, my own therapy journey was kicking into high gear. Peeling back layers of try harder and you're too sensitive revealed the raw truth. My parents were toxic. Negotiating with them, seeking their approval, trying to make them see asterisk, it was like trying to teach astrophysics to a goldfish. Pointless and exhausting. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. The only way to heal was to disengage, to stop playing their game. It wasn't about fixing them, it was about saving myself. A difficult pill to. One day, feeling particularly brave or maybe just fed up, I confronted my mom. I laid it out, the resentment, the pain, their role in my brother's suffering and my own struggles. Her reaction, textbook denial, you're exaggerating. We gave you everything, why are you so mad? And the classic hits, you're too sensitive, and the piece de resistance, there's no parenting guide, we did our best. It was like talking to a brick wall if the brick wall could gaslight you. Zero accountability, maximum defensiveness. My therapist would have a field day. Fast forward to today in the story. My brother, deep in a depressive slump, had a simple request, a trip to Barnes and Noble. Sometimes just being around books helps, So off we went, me, him, and Mom, because apparently she needed books too, just not the right kind. It was a typical bookstore visit, browsing shelves, the quiet hum of fellow readers. Little did I know this ordinary outing was about to become the setting for my own personal mic drop moment. Fate, or maybe. I wandered, letting my feet carry me, processing that conversation with Mom, her no parenting guide excuse rattling in my brain. And then I saw it, the psychology section. It was like a beacon. My eyes scanned the shelves. Child development, family dynamics, mental health, and then rows upon rows of asterisk parenting guides, books with titles practically screaming at me. How to Raise Happy Kids, Listening to Your Teen. Parenting the Spirited Child, it was almost comical, no guide, seriously, the universe clearly. Suddenly an idea sparked, a mischievous, slightly defiant, utterly necessary idea. I started grabbing books, not just one but an armful, How to Be a Good Mom, listen to your child. Principles on how to take care of your ADHD child. Oh, the irony. Boundaries for parents. Each title felt like a tiny piece of validation, a weapon against years of denial. I collected about 5 of them, a hefty stack of everything they claimed didn't exist. My heart was pounding, but not with fear. With my arsenal of parenting literature clutched firmly, I went searching for Mom, found her browsing the latest bestsellers, completely oblivious. I took a deep breath, walked calmly towards her, the weight of the books feeling like the weight of years of silence. This wasn't about anger anymore, it was about truth, about shattering the convenient narrative she'd built, time to pull back the curtain. My dad had this, let's call it volume control issue. And by issue I mean zero chill, spilled water, dropped a napkin, might as well have declared war, instant screaming match. It wasn't just yelling. It was humiliation, turning tiny accidents into character flaws. We learned to move like ninjas around him, especially during meals. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a butter knife, assuming you didn't drop the knife, triggering another meltdown. Good times makes for excellent childhood memories, said no one ever. I stopped right in front of her. She looked up, probably expecting me to show her a novel I liked. Instead, I held up the first book. Mom, I said, my voice steady, calm. Do you remember that time you told me there were no parenting guides, that you did your best because there was no manual? Her smile faltered. Oh yeah, she remembered. The air crackled slightly. Well, I continued, maintaining eye contact. I just wanted to let you know I found these. Then I started presenting them one by one, reading each title aloud, loud enough for her, and maybe a few nearby shoppers to hear clearly. How to be a good mom, pause, next book, listen to your child, pause, next, principles on how to take care of your ADHD child. Her face was a picture, confusion turning into something else, discomfort, anger, didn't matter. I held up the last book, Boundaries. As you can see, I stated, letting the words hang in the air, their asterisk are asterisk manuals, their asterisk are parenting guides, loads of them actually. Right here in the psychology section. I gestured vaguely towards the aisle I'd come from. It probably would have been better if you'd maybe, I don't know, glanced at one before we were born, just a thought. The sarcasm was subtle but definitely present, and then the coup de grace, no shouting, no tears. I simply let the stack of 5 books drop onto the floor right in front of her feet. Thump, it wasn't violent, just final. I didn't wait for a reaction. Didn't look at her face to gauge the impact. I just turned around and walked away, leaving her standing there with the evidence of her excuses literally at her feet. The silence behind me felt louder than any argument we'd ever. As I walked away, weaving through the bookshelves, a strange feeling washed over me. Relief, liberation, and then unexpectedly a small smile crept onto my face. Not a happy smile exactly, but a satisfied one. The smile of finally saying the unsayable, of speaking my truth after decades of swallowing it down. It wasn't about hurting her, it was about freeing myself. The weight wasn't just the books I'd dropped. Here's the thing, their denial is a fortress. Admitting they were wrong, that their actions caused deep, lasting trauma, that would crumble their entire self-perception. It's easier to label us too sensitive or exaggerating than to face the ugly truth of their failures. I spent years, decades, trying to reason with them, hoping for a breakthrough, an apology, some sign of understanding. But you can't negotiate with people committed to misunderstanding you. Some people just won't. Honestly, her reaction to the book drop doesn't even matter that much. If she gets defensive, screams, cries, plays the victim, she just proves my point about her inability to take responsibility. If she somehow stays quiet, reflects, maybe even feels a flicker of shame, still great, because asterisk finally spoke up. The power wasn't in her response, it was in my action. After years of being silenced, finding my voice, even in that small, they might never see the damage. They might go to their graves convinced they were good parents who just had difficult kids. But asterisk see it. I see the scars on my brother, the diagnoses, the suicide attempts. I see the ADHD I struggled with alone, the anxiety, the years of feeling inadequate. I know the truth, and honestly, that's enough now. My validation doesn't depend on their admission anymore. I've witnessed the wreckage firsthand. I don't need the architect. So what's next? The big step, no contact, or at least extremely low, heavily boundaries contact. It sounds harsh maybe, but it feels like the only path to genuine peace. Trying to maintain a relationship with people who consistently deny your reality, invalidate your feelings, and refuse accountability is like drinking poison and expecting them to get sick. It's time to choose my own well-being. It's time to leave the burning building. Even if they refuse to. It won't be easy, there will be guilt trips, attempts at manipulation, sob stories about how distant I've become. They are masters of gaslighting after all. But we gave you everything, we miss you, why are you doing this to us? My new mantra, being away from them, makes me happy. remembering the relief, the peace, the simple act of breathing easier when I'm not tangled in their dysfunction. That memory will be my shield. My absence might be the only boundary they can't argue their way across. Then came the big move, new country, new everything, exciting, right, wrong. My brother lost his friends, his familiar world overnight. He was heartbroken, adrift. While I somehow managed to adapt at the new school, probably sheer survival instinct, he struggled. And guess what parental support sounded like? Stop being so sensitive, or it's your fault you don't like it here. Peak empathy, folks. Instead of comfort, he got blame. It was like watching someone drown and yelling at them for not swimming faster. Absolutely baffling parenting strategy. It makes me think of Jeanette McCurdy's book, I'm Glad My Mom Died. Sounds brutal, right? But reading her story, I got it. It's not about celebrating death. It's about the profound, complicated relief that comes when an abusive figure is no longer present in your life, whether through distance, estrangement, or yes, even death. It's the feeling of finally being safe, of knowing the source of the pain can't reach you anymore. Healing isn't linear. There will be good days, bad days, days I miss the idea of family, even if the reality was toxic. But stepping away, choosing myself, feels like the first authentic step towards building a life where I'm not constantly bracing for impact. It's about focusing on my own growth, my brother's fragile recovery, and nurturing the relationships that actually bring support and joy. It's about finally giving myself the things my parents couldn't or wouldn't. Dropping those books wasn't just about confronting my mother, it was about dropping the weight of expectation. The expectation that they would change, that I could fix them, that our family could be normal. It was an act of surrender, but not defeat. Surrendering the fight that couldn't be won, to free up energy for the life that can be lived. It was the end of one chapter, pain. So yeah, not everyone should be a parent. If your takeaway from this is anything, maybe it's that. Or maybe it's that healing is possible, even after deep trauma. Or maybe it's just that sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is walk away and choose peace. Whatever it is, thanks for listening. It's been cathartic. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a future to build, free from the ghosts. So yeah, not everyone should be a parent. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is walk away from the family you were given to build the life you deserve. It's a long road, healing from this stuff. But finding your voice, setting boundaries, and choosing your own peace, that's where the real story begins. My brother is still fighting his battles, and I'm fighting mine, but we're doing it on our own terms now. And that makes all the difference. The silence is broke. Picture this, chilling at home, trying to relax. Dad wants the TV remote. Standard request, right? Except he gave us a 30-second countdown like it was a bomb disposal mission. We fumbled, couldn't find it fast enough. His reaction, not disappointment, not mild annoyance. No, he threw a freaking coffee table in our general direction. It splintered against the wall, missing us by inches. That wasn't anger management. It was attempted redecoration via domestic projectile. We weren't just scared, we were genuinely wondering. Think the table was bad? Oh, strap in. One lovely family drive, tensions running high, shocking, I know. My brother, still just a kid, probably said something Dad didn't like. So Dad pulls over, on the highway and tells my brother to get out, then drives off, leaving a child on the side of a busy highway. He had to walk miles home. Let that sink in. Abandonment, highway edition. It wasn't discipline, it was cruelty bordering on sociopathic. How do you even process that as a kid? Short answer. Fast forward a few years, my brother, now a teen, actually had a girlfriend. He had a little stash of treasures, gifts, notes, maybe even an intimate photo kept locked away. Normal teenage stuff, right? Private, sacred, until Mom Dearest decided boundaries were merely suggestions. She picked the lock, rummaged through his most personal belongings, found the photo. The violation wasn't just opening a box. It was cracking open his sense of safety, his trust in privacy, forever. That kind of intrusion leaves scars you can't see but feel. After the locker incident, something shifted in my brother. The trust wasn't just broken, it shattered into a million pieces. He became different, suspicious, jumpy. He started talking about things that weren't there, seeing shadows move, hearing whispers. The paranoia was palpable, it was terrifying to watch. That violation of privacy wasn't just a betrayal, it felt like the trigger, the crack in the dam that let the floodwaters of something much darker rush in. His mind wants a safe. Meanwhile, I wasn't exactly thriving either. School, chores, just existing felt like climbing Everest in flip-flops. I'd try so hard, pour everything I had into tasks, and still fall short, constantly feeling like a failure. The frustration would build until I just broke, tears streaming, feeling utterly useless. I remember desperately asking my parents for help, for understanding anything. Their response, try harder, you're not applying yourself. Zero validation, maximum dismissal. It was like screaming into We stumbled into adulthood, carrying backpacks full of unprocessed trauma instead of, hopes and dreams. Functioning became optional. Coping mechanisms were frayed beyond repair. Finally, blessedly, we hit a wall hard enough to realize we couldn't do it alone. Therapy wasn't a luxury, it was a necessity, a last resort, making that first appointment terrifying. Admitting you need help when you've been told your whole life to just suck it up or try harder is a monumental step. It felt like